My best friend stopped talking to me for exposing a cheater, and it turned out she had been his mistress. After college, I moved back to my home state and into a city about an hour away from my original hometown. Once I got settled, I decided to get back into the dating game, so I created a Tinder profile. Almost immediately, I matched with a great guy named John. He was up in my area for work, but it turned out he actually lived right in my hometown. We hit it off quickly. Since neither of us was big on social media, we exchanged numbers and started texting on WhatsApp. Neither of us was looking for anything serious, so the arrangement was perfect. He traveled to my city a lot for work, and we could meet up there. Soon, our conversations turned a bit sexual. He would send me pretty suggestive pictures, and we talked about hooking up on his next trip. We set up a date to grab lunch and finally meet in person. Throughout all of this, I had been sharing all the details with my childhood best friend, Anna. When I told her I was finally going to meet him, she asked for a picture. I sent her a normal photo of his face, and her reaction left me cold. She told me she had dated him for a couple of weeks a few years back. I asked if she was uncomfortable with me seeing him, and she said no, but then she warned me about something worse. I'm positive he has a girlfriend. She gave me his full name so I could look him up on Facebook, and sure enough, there it was. The guy was in a serious relationship. I was so furious that I confronted him immediately over text. He apologized profusely, claiming that talking to me on Tinder was a mistake and begging me not to tell his girlfriend. I told him to screw off and blocked him. But I didn't just sit back. I took screenshots of the entire conversation, including the messages where he admitted his guilt, found the girlfriend on Facebook, and sent them to her. I wrote to her saying I felt awful for getting even slightly involved in her partner's infidelity and that she deserved to know the truth. Days passed and I didn't get a reply, but I felt I had done the right thing. The trouble started a couple of days later when I traveled back to my hometown and went out to lunch with Anna. She asked what had ended up happening with John, and I told her everything. Out of nowhere, Anna flew into a rage. She started screaming at me that I had no business interfering in other people's relationships, and asked me, how could I be so destructive toward a relationship I wasn't even a part of? I defended myself, telling her that he had made me part of his relationship the moment he tried to use me to cheat on his girlfriend. Anna looked at me with pure disgust, told me I was an awful person, paid her share, and stormed out. Since that day, she has completely cut me off. Update. Anna still wasn't talking to me, so I went back to my city and moved on with my life. In the middle of last week, she finally called me. She kept insisting that what I did was wrong. I asked her if she would ever tell me if she found out a future boyfriend of mine was cheating on me, and she said, "Of course, but that's because I know you." To her, the fact that the girlfriend was a stranger justified letting the guy make a fool out of her. Realizing we were getting nowhere, we agreed to drop it and hung up. When I checked my Facebook minutes later, I discovered I had a hidden message from John's girlfriend. She was asking me to call her. I was incredibly nervous, but I dialed her number. The call started off very awkward, but then she asked me to tell her everything. I recounted it step by step. I could hear her starting to cry on the other end of the line, which broke my heart. She explained that she had been with John for almost 4 years. During their first year together, he had cheated on her multiple times. She found out, he swore to change, and she forgave him. Since then, she lived in paranoia, but he had never given her any reasons to suspect him again. She thanked me endlessly for being honest. Her sadness turned into a liberating rage, and she assured me that this time, she was leaving him for good. She even offered to buy me a coffee the next time I was in town. I hung up relieved, feeling like everything was finally in its right place. I started typing a text to tell Anna about it, but right before hitting send, I stopped dead in my tracks to think about one detail. The girlfriend had told me they had been together for 4 years. I sent a direct text to Anna and asked her, "What exact dates did you date John?" Her reply froze the blood in my veins. She had been with him 2 years ago. The math doesn't lie. Anna didn't date him a few years ago before he had a girlfriend. Anna was seeing him right in the middle of his relationship. She knew perfectly well that John had a partner because she was his mistress. That's why she got so furious with me. She wasn't defending some stranger's privacy. She was projecting her own guilt and defending the man she herself had helped use to cheat on that woman. I don't plan on saying anything to John's ex-girlfriend. She's already suffering enough without adding another betrayal to the pile. But my decision regarding Anna is made. I am cutting her out of my life forever. And when she asks me why, I'll just tell her one phrase: I know about you and John. In the end, the truth always comes to light. What do you guys think? Was I right to expose the cheater, even though it cost me a lifelong friendship? Or do you think I should have listened to my friend from the beginning?